Hello and welcome to the National Disaster Resilience Competition Benefit Cost Analysis Overview, where we'll be focusing on Appendix H of the NOFA. My name is Allison Heck and I am currently on rotation in HUD's Office of Economic Resilience. My home office is in FEMA with the Office of Policy and Program Analysis. Today we have with us Sarah Jensen, an environmental specialist with HUD's Office of Environment and Energy, who will be leading us through this discussion on benefit cost analysis, or BCA for short. We're going to start with a short overview of the Phase 2 application. Then we hope to convey to you the basics of a benefit cost analysis as described in Appendix H, why HUD is asking for one in Phase 2, and what HUD would like for you to provide in your submission. We'll talk about how the benefit cost analysis connects to the rest of your Phase 2 application, and we'll end with the links to resources and explain how you can ask questions. This is the infographic you've probably seen throughout this competition. At this point, we've gone through Phase 1, and that took about 180 days to frame the issues, find partners, and consult with stakeholders to generate an idea, make a long-term commitment. And HUD has invited Phase 1 scorers to submit a Phase 2 project implementation proposal drawn from your Phase 1 framing idea. And you should note, as you can probably see in this infographic, that Phase 2 has a very quick turnaround of a little less than 4 months. And now I'm going to turn it over to Sarah, who will focus on the BCA component of the Phase 2 application.
Thanks, Allison. As Allison mentioned, today we will be walking through Appendix H from the NOFA, titled Phase 2 Benefit Cost Analysis Instructions for CDBG National Disaster Resilience. We recommend that you review the Phase 2 NOFA requirements and Appendix H before viewing this webinar. Please note that Appendix H and the NDRC NOFA prevail if anything in this presentation conflicts or appears to conflict. A benefit cost analysis is a consideration of the total costs and benefits of a project in present dollar value over the useful life of the proposal. Results of a BCA can be presented either as a benefit cost ratio, which is benefits over costs, or a net present value, which is benefits minus costs. HUD asked for both calculations with your application. A benefit cost ratio greater than 1 means that benefits are greater than the costs. A net present value greater than 0 means the same thing. Here's an example of a benefit cost ratio calculation from a FEMA project. You can see that the applicant here had 2 components to the project, and each component has a positive benefit cost ratio. The applicant analyzed the 2 components separately and then combined them for a total project benefit cost ratio. The calculation itself is very straightforward. What takes time is setting the parameters of your analysis, defining assumptions, establishing costs and benefits, and gathering the data to support your work. All calculations must be in the present value of money. To get the present dollar value, you must consider the time value of money. $1 today is worth more than $1 in 4 years due to increase of costs over time and opportunity costs of not investing that dollar. For example, 4 years ago, I could buy a snack from the vending machine in my office for 75 cents. Today, the cost is $1. In 4 years, the cost will be higher. So $1 today, T0 on the arrow, will buy 1 snack, but $1 in 4 years, T4 on the arrow, will only buy a percentage of a snack. As a result of this principle, benefits and costs are worth more if they are experienced sooner. Typical investments have costs concentrated at the beginning and benefits starting and lasting later in the project. This weights the benefit cost analysis towards costs. There are formulas for converting costs and benefits to present dollar value, and these formulas are based on the discount rate. The Office of Management and Budget, OMB, sets a 7% discount rate that applicants must use in BCA calculations. Raising the discount rate reduces the present value of future costs or benefits. Lowering the discount rate raises the present value. Appendix H allows an additional calculation at an alternative discount rate, but no lower than 3%, if the submission includes a justification acceptable to HUD. Any alternative calculation could be included in the submission as part of a sensitivity analysis. You may be asking yourself, why do a benefit cost analysis? The first reason is that a BCA is required for all covered projects. A covered project is a major infrastructure project or two or more related infrastructure projects having an estimated total cost of $50 million or more, including $10 million of CDBG, DR, or NDR funds. Another reason is that there are elements from Appendix H required for all projects. Phase 2 requires outcome metrics in these four categories from the BCA: resilience value, environmental value, social value, and economic revitalization value. HUD will give separate guidance on these outcome metrics, but for today, note that applicants that calculate a BCA will be ahead of the game on this part of the application. HUD encourages applicants to complete a BCA for all projects. If your project involves other federal partners or permitting agencies, they may require you to do one. Another reason is if done correctly, the BCA can help with your required environmental review. Integrating application planning, environmental review requirements, and the BCA together will result in a better plan overall, faster completion of your environmental review requirements post-award, and a better BCA. For example, if your project requires an environmental assessment or environmental impact statement, your environmental review must consider alternatives to the proposed project. If a proposed project is to build a bridge over a body of water, the environmental review may run into issues with floodplains or endangered species at the proposed location. Your alternatives may be to move the bridge downstream or put the bridge supports on the banks of the river versus in the water itself. Running a BCA on the different environmental alternatives will strengthen your NEPA analysis as well as your project as a whole. The more integrated thought you can put into your application, the BCA, and the environmental review, the better. What is HUD looking for? Taking the time to do a thorough analysis will help your final project. Your submission will also be another chance to show the benefits of your project to HUD and to the public, particularly with respect to community development and economic revitalization. HUD will not fund any activities for which the benefits are not demonstrated by the evidence to justify the costs. HUD recognizes that benefit cost analysis is particularly difficult for community development projects and will take that difficulty into account in considering responses. There are two components to the BCA submission: quantitative and qualitative. The bulk of the analysis will be quantitative and will include the BCA calculation and a narrative description that follows the outline in Appendix H. This narrative must be clear, evidence-based, and quantified. Write it for an audience of reviewers with limited economic background. The narrative must include a required table describing benefits and costs. The BCA calculation itself must follow OMB Circular A94 or another federal BCA under certain circumstances. There is also a qualitative part of the review. HUD recognizes that it is difficult to quantify and monetize all costs and benefits for community development projects, so we are allowing 3 pages summarizing these types of costs and benefits. We will include this 3-page summary in our assessment of whether a BCA shows that benefits outweigh the costs. As we mentioned, HUD will accept an existing BCA in certain circumstances. Those circumstances are that they have been accepted by the Army Corps, FEMA, or DOT, and it meets the 4 conditions listed on this slide. To meet Condition 2, that the BCA accounts for economic revitalization and other social community benefits, the applicant can provide a supplemental narrative no longer than 3 pages to describe these factors, especially if they cannot be monetized and included in your calculation. Please note that your BCA must be run with the 7% OMB rate and using the basic assumptions from Appendix H. If you submit a BCA done for DOT, for example, you may have used DOT's value of statistical life, which is higher than the one cited in Appendix H. We are using FEMA's. In that case, HUD asks that you rerun your calculations with the HUD required values. We must be able to compare apples to apples when reviewing BCA. For Phase 2 applications, HUD has asked applicants to identify phasing or scalability in its proposals. In order to show that a scaled or single phase of a project has independent utility, applicants must perform a BCA on each component or phase. This is important because HUD may not be able to fund the full proposal, and so needs to see data on what could be funded and still be impactful short of a full request. Presenting the full and the phased or scale components can help meet the OMB requirement for alternatives in a BCA analysis. As we discussed before, we recommend applicants also run alternative analysis stemming from the environmental review. Note the FEMA example again. This shows independent utility of the two phases of the project. The narrative description is a key element of the BCA submission and is required whether you follow OMB A94 or submit another agency's BCA. HUD does not want to simply see a BCA calculation. We want to see an explanation of your thinking and citations for your sources of data and choices of values. HUD also expects consistency with the rest of your application and expects that your narrative identifies evidence-based practices. You can provide a page number rather than restate information you have already included in the Phase 1 or Phase 2 factors, but keep in mind the importance of a clear and readable BCA. Here's an overview of the 8 categories required in your BCA narrative. If you are using a BCA from another agency, make sure these 8 categories are covered. If they are not, please supplement as necessary. Let's walk through the 8 categories. First, describe the process for preparing the BCA. If it was prepared by a consultant or a grant writer, how was the applicant staff involved, particularly in preparing or evaluating benefits and costs? Second, describe the full proposal cost. Include here federal, state, local, and private funding. Make sure to include anything you counted as leverage. Also consider operations and maintenance costs and functionally related or geographically related work. Category 3 is the description of the current situation and the problem to be solved, including anticipated changes over the analysis period. This is your description of the baseline condition as described in OMB Circular A94, but we want information beyond what's described in the circular. HUD is specifically asking for critical, unique, and quantified information about impacts of the qualifying disaster, existing risks in the area, and existing social conditions or challenges. When considering vulnerable populations, make sure to indicate if any are disproportionately low income or minority. And by the way, this information will link to your environmental justice review. HUD is also asking about environmental conditions such as air and water quality, land use patterns and habitats, and environmentally sensitive areas. We also want to know about existing trends in land use, housing development, affordability, and employment, and how they could affect disaster recovery or the risks outlined above. Category 4 is the description of the proposed project or program, including functionally or geographically related elements and estimated useful life. This category is where you define the boundaries of your BCA, including the full scope, geographic boundaries, and useful life determinations. If you are working with a consultant, make sure that you are directing and fully understanding these parameters. There are 8 questions under this category that need to be addressed, and they're here on the slide. I will highlight a few. For key proposal objectives, we want to make sure you aggregate geographical, functional, or logical components. Examples include a geographic relationship like a rehab center near a hospital, a functional relationship such as a shuttle bus to link a satellite parking lot to a new building, or logical parts of an action, for example, off-site storage to ensure access to records. For design philosophy, we're looking for how your proposal addresses recovery needs and current and future risks and vulnerabilities. We would like you to describe anticipated changes to local policies, such as local zoning or building codes. Discuss how these changes will impact recovery needs and/or risks and vulnerabilities. The estimated useful life is the time boundary of your BCA analysis, and we've discussed the discount rate earlier. Here would be the place to make your case for an alternative rate, but remember you must also use the 7% discount rate. You will likely recognize this slide from Phase 1 webinars on defining stakeholders. When you set the boundaries of your benefit cost analysis, link it back to the true reach of your project, not just the most impacted and distressed target areas. Will there be benefits that reach to the adjacent areas, the full county, the state, even beyond the state boundaries? Take this into account in Category 4. Category 5 is the description of risk to your communities if the proposal and any land use, zoning, or building code changes are not implemented. Make sure to cite data and sources. This is where you discuss what would happen if you do nothing. Make sure to consider doing nothing against the full proposal and against each component. The last bullet here, estimate costs avoided if similar disaster struck again, overlaps directly with Phase 2, Factor 2B, Resilient Needs within Recovery Needs, which asks the question, if my proposed project had been implemented prior to the disaster, what would be the outcome? Category 6 is where you list all benefits and costs, including the rationale and basis or methodology for how you quantified and/or monetized each effect. There is a required table for tracking this information. The categories highlighted in blue are those that all projects, covered or no, must develop and track metrics for in Phase 2. Many of the co-benefits you identified in Phase 1 and Phase 2 factor analysis will fit here. The first category is for costs. Make sure to include all costs, including all funding sources, the dollars you are using for leverage, and operations and maintenance costs. If you claim an action to enhance resilience since the qualifying disaster to meet your long-term commitment requirements, you need to count this as part of your costs. The remaining 4 categories are generally benefits. We'll start with resilience value. This is the value of protection from future or repeated disasters, including reduction in property damages, casualties, displacement, or infrastructure failures. This is not an exhaustive list, and there may be other resilience values to consider, such as public health or social cohesion. Here's a list of environmental values to consider. There may be other values at your particular project. Keep in mind that the data you collect for your BCA can also be used in your environmental review. Social values that would further community development objectives. The resilience grant funds are flowing through CDBG-DR, and as a result, HUD wants to know how your project links to CDBG requirements such as benefit to low and moderate income people, elimination of slum and blight, and housing affordability. HUD also wants to know about other HUD objectives such as fair housing, historic preservation, equal access, and accessibility. Economic revitalization. This could include direct effects, for example, tourism, or enhanced property values. Note that this category could be a cost and a benefit. For example, tourism could start as a cost, there will be no tourists during the construction phase of your project, and end as a benefit. Tourists will flock to your project when the work is done. Make sure that you count these types of benefits correctly using economic theory, and make sure not to double count any benefit. A common mistake is considering a transfer as a benefit in your BCA. Salaries created by new jobs are a transfer from the employer to the employee. However, the spending on goods and services by the new employee is a benefit and can be counted. DOT has some excellent guidance on this topic. Here's the required table for documenting benefits and costs that I mentioned. In column 1, you clearly name your cost and benefit using one row for each effect. In column 2, link the cost or benefit back to your factor narratives and/or your BCA narrative attachment. Column 3, you put a qualitative description of the effect and the rationale for including this effect in the BCA. Column 4 is where you'll quantify your cost or benefit. Describe how you are counting the effect and what data sources you're using. Also describe here how you are turning your cost or benefit into a monetary value. If you can't quantify your cost or benefit, we have a qualitative scale that you can use in this column instead. Column 5 is the monetized effect, and you can calculate the dollar value here. And column 6 is where you assess the uncertainty of the effect on a scale of 1, very certain, to 5, very uncertain. Let's apply an example from the NOFA. The example project is voluntary flood buyouts in a low-lying area prone to flooding along the fictional Peach River. The neighborhood includes 10 businesses. The applicant plans to use CDBG NDR funds inside the most impacted and distressed target area and leverage funds in the larger surrounding area. The plan is to convert properties to open space, including 100,000 square feet of riparian habitat. Here is the example represented in the required narrative table. I know that this may be difficult to read. These slides are posted with the webinar so you can review them in more detail later. For now, I want to give you a general sense of what types of benefits and costs you might consider and how you would fill out this table. At the top of the table, we have 2 costs listed under life cycle costs. The first is the CDBG NDR funds to buy out flood-prone homes in the most impacted and distressed Peach Pit neighborhood. The second is leverage funds to buy out flood-prone homes in the surrounding neighborhoods of Fire Pit and Apple Cart. There may be many more costs in your final project. We've described the cost in column 3, quantified it in column 4, funds will be used to purchase 100 homes, and monetized it in column 5. This is easy for a cost because we know how much money we are putting in from CDBG NDR and leverage funds. Note that both costs have an uncertainty of 1 or very certain. We've also listed one example benefit per category. Your project may have many more. Let's start with resilience value, which is just below the middle of the chart. There is a value to permanently removing 200 homes from harm's way. FEMA has a way to calculate this that includes the cost to fix a damaged home and the cost to rent another home during repairs. In order to do this calculation, you need an average size in square feet for homes in your target area. Make sure to cite your source. You will also need to know the displacement time in months. FEMA has a table that estimates this value based on occupancy type and flood depth, or you can use the U.S. Army Corps depth damage function curves for a more precise value. In order to monetize this effect in your BCA calculation, you will also need to know the predicted number of disasters in your analysis period. Make sure to explain your prediction and cite your sources. Are you basing frequency on being in the 100-year floodplain? On climate change predictive models? We have put uncertainty at a 4 because of the difficulty in predicting disasters. Next is environmental value. This is on the bottom of your chart. We have listed the value of the newly created riparian area. FEMA has come up with a value per square foot of riparian area, and this value includes air quality, erosion control, recreation, and flood hazard reduction, among other things. This value is from FEMA's 2013 mitigation policy on environmental benefits. We put uncertainty for this benefit as a 3. For both benefits, we have cited our sources in column 4 and monetized our benefit in column 5. Looking at the middle of the table under community development, we have an example of a benefit that is difficult to monetize: improved social cohesion. The Social Cohesion Index measures race and class, wealth, family structure, language barriers, and healthcare access, among other things. Research at the University of South Carolina has shown a strong correlation between social cohesion and disaster resilience. Clearing blighted homes and moving residents into a safer neighborhood together will increase social cohesion. We expect a strong positive impact, but do not have a way to monetize this benefit. Using HUD's guidance on qualitative scales, we have cited the research, explained how it applies to our project, and rated this effect strongly positive. See the 2 pluses. We'll explain the scale in the next slide. A second community development value that we can quantify is recreation. The new riparian open space will create recreational opportunities such as fishing and bird watching. However, this benefit has already been counted in our value of riparian open space that we included under environmental values. We did not put a monetized value in our table for this effect because it has already been counted. It's very important not to double count costs or benefits in your analysis. An example of an economic revitalization benefit is reduced insurance costs for the 10 businesses in the neighborhood. You can see this on the bottom row. These costs are easy to quantify, but we have marked this moderately uncertain because the cost savings will depend on FEMA issuing a letter of map amendment. If FEMA is a partner on your project, this benefit may be more certain. If you have not yet reached out to FEMA, this benefit would be less certain. The uncertainty column will have an important role for your sensitivity analysis. Here's the qualitative scale guidance I mentioned in connection with improved social cohesion. The qualitative scale ranges from expected strong negative impact through expected strong positive impact and also includes a category of unknown cannot be assessed. We marked improved social cohesion as strongly positive, but with an uncertainty of 5. It's important that you explain your qualitative score and cite your reasons and sources in column 4. Now moving away from the required table and back to the 8 narrative categories, we're at category 7, description of risks to ongoing benefits. Here you should list key risks and uncertainties. For example, if there is a Superfund site in your target area and your project does not include environmental mitigation, or the mitigation will take place over a number of years, there is an ongoing risk of environmental degradation or site contamination. Other examples would be elements that are out of your project's control, such as what upstream states might do with a water resource, or what other entities might do with water, sewer, roads, or bridges that could impact your project. Risks also include climate change, both directly due to sea level rise or changing weather patterns, and indirectly due to the uncertainty in planning. Or getting hit by another disaster before your project is finished would certainly be another risk. Category 8, an assessment of the challenges you will face implementing the proposal. Describe any political, technical, or legal risks to your project. Discuss the level of community support and highlight any issues with stakeholders. Please also note if you have included low-income and minority groups in your project planning. Now let's move from the narrative to the calculation itself. I want to reiterate and expand on HUD's requirements for the BCA. Your analysis must show that benefits are demonstrated by the evidence submitted to justify the costs. HUD recognizes that cost-benefit analysis is difficult for community development objectives and allows, and in fact encourages, applicants to include up to 3 pages summarizing other benefits and costs that are difficult to quantify. Please submit all data and calculations in a single Excel table. Appendix H says you can also submit a Word table, but HUD would be much happier with an Excel spreadsheet that includes all formulas. You must estimate benefits and costs for each year between the start date and the end of the analysis period, and HUD or the public must be able to reproduce the results based only on the information provided. This is where the Excel spreadsheet will be very helpful for us as reviewers. Here is a very simplified BCA based on our early example from the NOFA of a buyouts and demolition program that will create riparian open space along the fictional Peach River. Remember that in our example, we only filled out one benefit per category. In reality, this project would have more benefits and more costs. Note on this slide that the BCA clearly states parameters such as the discount rate and the useful life of the project. Note also that the events are clearly tied to years and that we show our work in the table in order to be as transparent as possible. You will see that in its current incomplete form, the BCR, the benefit cost ratio, is less than 1, and the NPV, or net present value, is less than 0. If you find this to be true in your project BCA calculation, remember that you can include a 3-page qualitative summary of benefits or costs that are hard to quantify. In our example, you would discuss the Social Vulnerability Index. You could also discuss the effects you actually had from your qualifying disaster from your Phase 2 Factor 2B response, which may have included loss of life. I would also like to mention sensitivity analysis here. Remember that we marked resilience value of the property at a 4, or very uncertain, because it is difficult to predict how many storm events could happen in the next 50 years. In this case, you would want to run your BCA first considering fewer storm events and then considering more frequent storm events. The sensitivity analysis shows how sensitive your results are to uncertainty in this factor. You would want to note the sensitivity in your BCA write-up. The sensitivity analysis is also the place to run an alternative discount rate. Here's another example. This is a very simple BCA from DOT. I wanted to show this because it's in a slightly different but equally valid analysis format, and in fact there are many valid formats for calculating your BCA. For HUD, you could submit this, but you would need to include the net present value and the benefit cost ratio in your submission. Here are some ideas of where you can get data for your BCA. Your Phase 1 and Phase 2 factor narratives will include information for the narrative description, estimated useful life of the project, costs, benefits, and risks. Appendix H includes basic assumptions for your analysis. And of course, there are many federal, state, local, academic, and nonprofit sources of information. Wherever possible, use federal data sources. These have been vetted and are accepted by other federal agencies. However, there may be other data sources more targeted to your project or to your region. You can use those and make sure you cite all your data sources in your BCA narrative. We plan to post a webinar on tips and data sources for your BCA as part of the Phase 2 webinar series, and we'll have more detail. Here are the basic assumptions listed in Appendix H. Your analysis period is the useful life of the proposal. If you need help determining the useful life of your proposed project, FEMA has helpful guidance on this. You should use 2015 constant prices and assume no price inflation. We've talked extensively about the discount rate already. And we are using FEMA's value of statistical life. And please note that other agencies may use a different value of statistical life, most notably DOT. Here's the value of statistical life published in Appendix H, but unfortunately, these are not FEMA's current values. These are the current numbers for FEMA. HUD is working on a technical correction to the NOFA, and we would like you to use the latest numbers in your BCA. What happens if your benefit cost ratio is less than 1 or your net present value is less than 0? The first step is to remember that an important part of your submission is the 3-page supplement summarizing benefits and costs that are difficult to quantify. Do a thorough and careful job with this document. You may also want to revisit your project definition, scope, and assumptions. Have you used the correct useful life period? Have you missed a geographic area beyond the mid-earn that will benefit? Have you made an incorrect assumption about costs that you will be avoiding due to the project? If this reevaluation doesn't help, you may want to revisit your project itself and evaluate alternatives that will increase benefits or decrease costs. Can you add an economic development component, for example? What about a recreation component? Or do you need to scale your vision down so that benefits outweigh costs? Your BCA is not standing alone. The BCA, including the narrative description, intersect with many of the factor narratives in your application. Here are some examples. Your BCA must address all the needs you described in Factor 2A, unmet recovery need and target geography. Your resilience needs within recovery needs may overlap with the narrative for your BCA, as we noted in our discussion of narrative description category 5. Phase 2 Factor 5 allows up to 10 points for long-term commitment. Covered projects will only get these points if your BCA incorporates benefits and costs related to this factor. Here are some links to BCA Resources. At the top is a link to OMB Circular A94 that we mentioned in this presentation. There is also a link to OMB Circular A4, and that provides good guidance on how to quantify and monetize benefit and costs. We also have links here to FEMA and DOT BCA Resources. These agencies have a lot of helpful guidance on conducting a BCA for resilience projects. At the bottom of the slide is a link to the NDRC NOFA and Resilience webinar series. Look for our webinar and tips and resources for conducting a BCA review, and there will also be 2 live BCA Q&A webinars coming over this summer. Now I'd like to hand it back to Allison to finish off our presentation.
Thank you, Sarah. As Sarah said, this webinar is archived on HUD Exchange and can be accessed at any time, along with subsequent webinars on Phase 2 and previous webinars that were provided during Phase 1 application process. If you have any questions on this topic or any others related to the application process, please direct them to resilientrecovery@hud.gov. Thank you for joining us.